Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel Dhyani Classes. If you are watching my video for the first time, do subscribe my channel. Hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever new video will be uploaded. So in today's video, we will cover the part 2 from the chapter The Interview written by Christopher Sylvester from class 12 CBSE. So let's get started. So in the first part of the chapter, we saw different opinion on interview from famous celebrities, writers about its pros and cons and how they felt about being interviewed, and illustrated several stories to support their statement to prove their opinions. So let's look at the second part of the chapter, The Interview, with line by line explanation. The following is an extract from an interview of Umberto Eco. The interviewer is Mukund Padmanabhan from The Hindu. So here the narrator is saying that the second part of the chapter is a part of an interview of Umberto Eco with the interviewer Mukund Padmanabhan from The Hindu. That means Mukund was working for the Hindu newspaper. So what is the Hindu here? The Hindu is an English language daily newspaper owned by the Hindu group and its headquarters in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Umberto Eco, a professor at the University of Bologna in Italy, had already acquired a formidable reputation as a scholar for his ideas on semiotics, the study of sign, literary interpretation, and medieval aesthetics before he turned to writing fiction. So Umberto Eco was a professor at the University of Bologna in Italy and had already acquired a formidable reputation as a scholar. That means he has gained a lot of respect and fame as a specialist on his ideas on semiotics. That means study of signs, symbols and use of interpretation and medieval aesthetics before he turned to writing fiction. That means he was a very proficient in general philosophy of beauty during the medieval period. That means during the Middle Age, and then he started writing novels. Literary fiction, academic text, essays, children's book, newspaper articles, his written output is staggeringly large and wide-ranging. So here the narrator is talking about the interviewee, Professor Umberto Eco, who was also known for his literary fiction, academic text, essays, children's book, newspaper articles, and there are numbers of books including many different ideas, actions, etc. That was an astonishing achievement in his career. In 1980, he acquired the equivalent of intellectual superstardom with the publication of The Name of the Rose, which sold more than 10 million copies. So here, after this astonishing achievement in writing, in 1980 he acquired the equivalent of intellectual superstardom. That means he became a very famous personality and as a person possessing a highly developed intellect. And after the publication of his one of the book, The Name of the Rose, which was sold more than 10 million copies, and then he became a real intellectual superstar. So now let's look at the interview between Mukund Padmanabhan and Professor Umberto Eco. Mukund, the English novelist and academic David Lodge once remarked, "I can't understand how one man can do all the things he does." So here Mukund Padmanabhan is asking questions that one of the English novelist and academic writer David Lodge had once said, that he was in a state of confusion and was not able to understand how Umberto Eco was able to do all these things at one time and how. Umberto Eco, maybe I gave the impression of doing many things, but in the end I am convinced I am always doing the same thing. So when Mukund Padmanabhan asked him a question how he was able to manage many tasks at a time, Umberto Eco replied him very politely that maybe I gave the impression of doing many things. That means people may have perception that I am doing many things at a time, but in the end I am convinced and I am always doing the same thing. That means he said I am very much convinced that I always doing the same thing at a time. Mukund, which is, so as Umberto Eco had said that I am very much satisfied that I always doing same thing, and suddenly Mukund asked him which is. That means he wanted to know what is the same thing he always doing. Umberto Eco, now that is more difficult to explain. I have some philosophical interest and I pursue them through my academic work and my novels. So here Umberto replied that it is quite difficult to explain how I am doing the same thing all the time and I have some philosophical interest. That means most of the time he developed to the study of fundamental nature of knowledge, reality and its existence and pursue them through my academic work and my novels. That means through his philosophical interests and use his interest in education work and novels. Even my books for children are about non-violence and peace. You see the same bunch of ethical philosophical interests. So here he says even he wrote some books for children about non-violence and about peace, and further he says you see the same bunch of ethical philosophical interests. That means he has same bunch of ethical, that means he has moral and social philosophical interests whenever he writes something. And then I have a secret. So then he talked about his secret, that he worked in empty space of time. Did you know what will happen if you eliminate the empty spaces from the universe? Eliminate the empty spaces in all the atoms. The universe will become as big as my fist. So here he says that the whole universe is like a component or a piece, and if you remove the empty spaces from the atoms or from the universe would be very compact, just as big as his fist. Similarly, we have a lot of empty spaces in our lives. So here he says that in our life we also have empty spaces. So what do you mean by empty spaces here? So empty spaces refers to an unoccupied spaces where something may be stored, and further he says I call them interstices. So here he is calling these empty spaces as interstices. Say you are coming over to my place, you are in an elevator, and while you are coming up I am waiting for you. So here Umberto is saying that suppose you are coming over to my house and you took the elevator to my flat and I am waiting for you. This is an interstice, an empty space. So here Umberto waiting for him. So that waiting time he is calling is an interstice or an empty space, and he says I worked in empty spaces. That means he utilized that time while waiting for somebody. And further he says while waiting for your elevator to come up from the first to the third floor I have already written an article, laughs. So here Umberto is saying that when someone was coming up to my house and the guest took the elevator from the ground floor to his flat on the third floor, so while waiting he utilized that time or empty space to write an article. So in this way he efficiently and proactively uses the empty spaces and writes an articles. Mukund, not everyone can do that of course. So after hearing this from interviewee Umberto, he said not everyone can do what you are doing, just like using the empty spaces in a very efficient way. And further he says no, your non-fictional writing, your exploratory work has certain playful and personal quality about it. So here Mukund is talking about his non-fictional writing. That means non-fictional is writing that gives information or describe real events rather than telling a story. And he said your scholarly work has a certain playful and personal. That means you have a different style in writings with fun loving and personal touch. It is a marked departure from a regular academic style, which is invariably depersonalized and often dry and boring. So here Mukund also mentioned that what you did was undoubtedly unique. His scholarly articles were very different from the usual academic style, and the usual academic style lacked personal touch and was dry and boring. Have you consciously adopted an informal approach, or it is something that just came naturally to you? So here Mukund Padmanabhan again asked a question to Umberto Eco that did he knowingly adopt an informal way of writing, or was he being natural? Umberto Eco, when I presented my first doctoral dissertation in Italy. So here Umberto Eco talks about his first doctoral dissertation, that means long thesis on Doctor of Philosophy. When he presented his first thesis on research in Italy, one of the professors said scholars learned a lot of certain subject, then they make a lot of false hypotheses then they correct them, and at the end they put the conclusion. That means one of the professors said that students, usually scholars, learned a lot on a different subjects and then make a lot of mistakes, and they correct them at the end and then put the conclusion of the subject. You, on the contrary, told the story of your research. That means Umberto Eco told the professor why and how he did the research, even including your trials and errors. So whatever mistakes Umberto Eco made, he was able to make it correct them in the story of his research. And what do you mean by the trials and error here? That means trying several methods, or trying several different methods of doing it until you find the method that works properly, and it could be medical research or other discovery as well. At the same time, he recognized I was right and went on to publish my dissertation as a book, which meant he appreciated. So here the professor also able to find out how Umberto Eco wrote his thesis by adding different methods and ideas of doing his research, and the professor was also very happy that he published his dissertation as a book. That means published his thesis, which meant he appreciated it. That means he appreciated his work on publishing his thesis as a book. So I hope you like the video. Let's look at the third part of this chapter in my next video. For more informative videos, do subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon so that I get notified whenever new video will be uploaded. So thank you so much for watching once again. Stay safe, stay healthy.